Hey everyone, welcome back to Collector Chatter. This is episode 44. I'm your host Miguel here with my co-host Charlie, and we're back again. It's been a while, but we are super excited to talk about the latest Funko news. There was a ton of it, a bunch of new pops, sodas, and NFTs have been dropping.
And if you're listening on the podcast platforms, as always, thank you so much. But come over to our YouTube channel where we have, the video versions of the podcast. We have exclusive content. And we really appreciate your support over there. And when you get there, just make sure you like our videos, comment, and of course, subscribe. All right, now let's chat.
All right, guys. So like I said, this is going to be pretty much a packed news drops, bunch of stuff happened. It's been a while. I know we've been away for a little while. Charlie went on vacation for a little bit. I've been tied up with work and stuff. A lot of stuff happened. Life happens, but we're here.
We're back.
And you know what? We're just gonna, we're gonna just rip right into this stuff because there's a ton of news. Obviously, it's been a few weeks. Even just this last week has been very heavy with a lot of news. We got a bunch of new cons coming out and a lot of stuff. So we'll get right into it. I kind of want to just go right off the bat with something that I was super excited for as far as like a new drop. Again, this is going to be kind of stuff that's within the last few weeks. There's kind of all over the place, but it's Game of Thrones related. So, that's a huge fandom of mine. Right off the bat, first was Pops. So we did get House of the Dragon pops that are coming out, which is of course the new spin-off prequel to Game of Thrones. I've been really into this. I know Charlie, you've been wanting to watch it. We haven't gotten around yet. So
Yes.
It's a little behind. So we're not gonna get into spoilers and all that kind of stuff, but obviously there was a line of pops that did come out. I know that there was a rumor and then like one came out early on. One was part of the con,
For the con,
I think. But that was before the show came out. So it was kind of like, you didn't really know exactly what it was. But now since I've been watching the show, I'm definitely loved the line that came out. One of the Funko Shop exclusives one, which is Damon Targaryen. He's like one of the best characters played by Matt Smith. Awesome, like actor and an amazing like character. So I'm glad that they have that one. It is a little lazy because there's a common version of that, and then the Funko Shop exclusive is just him holding like a dragon egg, which is literally the same pose, stance, and everything. So that was kind of weak, but I grabbed that one instead of the other one. But yeah, that was a cool line. Obviously, you haven't watched it yet, so I'm sure like it wasn't anything you were like as excited about. I'm sure once you watch it, you'll want this line because they definitely look really cool. But
I mean, I'm excited. It's funny. It's like I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. The fact that I'm not caught up on the show is like it's killing me. It's one of those shows that like it's funny. My wife doesn't want to watch it. She's not a Game of Thrones fan. So like that then cuts my time. And like, we normally at night we'll watch shows together. And it isn't a show we can kind of just put on like whenever because I don't want like Chip seeing that /
yeah,
I need to pay attention.
Yeah, pay attention. Yeah.
So I'm hoping though I can get around to watching it soon and maybe on my commute now too. Like even though I don't really want to watch that show on my iPad, but like it is what it is because I'm starting to now get spoiled for it, which I'm like super annoyed about. But
yeah, at this point, I think you would be. Yeah, it makes sense.
But I think the pop line looks awesome. It seems like they hit a lot. Like I said, I've watched most of the first episode. It seems like they basically have a pop of like all the main characters. Even some of the characters that probably aren't considered main characters. So I thought the line looks pretty well done. One thing that I thought was funny though, I noticed, so that pop you were talking about that was the con exclusive, that has been like sitting on Funko Shop, like no one wanted it. It's now sold out, which I find like
it came out too early, I think. Like
and now people are like, okay, I want that. So but yeah, I think the line looks awesome, and I probably will. And I can already tell like Matt Smith's character is going to be my favorite. I love him in general, and from what I've seen, I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah, he definitely is one of those characters that you're gonna like tie onto, and like even if whether he's a good or a bad guy, like you still will like him, kind of a thing.
Yep.
But yeah, the line is good. There's also a couple more coming out. They're on like the notify me, like there's gonna be other ones dropping out. So the line is probably gonna be pretty big. I mean, most of the time, Game of Thrones in general has always had like a pretty big line, especially when there's multiple seasons. So for now, we're getting a lot of the main people, which is great. And then tying into that, but a little bit more in your world for sure.
Yeah.
The Game of Thrones was announced as the newest NFT drop. This is going to be October 4th. So that'll be next week. If you guys are listening to this, so a week from now. Um, very excited about this.
I'm very
A few
excited.
things I want to say about this. So, one, kind of out of nowhere because I did not expect Game of Thrones to be one of their lines for,
No,
let's say. It's the OG Game of Thrones, so it's the actual Game of Thrones show. It's not anything about House of the Dragon. So we haven't gotten too many Game of Thrones pops in a really long time. Then we had kind of a random little wave. But for the most part, most of them are pretty old. So now we're getting a lot more of these. The redeemables look amazing. I think like as pops themselves, they just look sick. But there's no Freddy Funko in this one,
no,
which is interesting because it's literally the first
it's
time that they've done
weird.
an NFT drop without a Freddy Funko as a royalty. Is there like, do you know which one the specific royalty? So the
They
only one
have
I know
not
for
said,
sure is the Grail. The Grail
which
they
is
announced
Daenerys.
is the Daenerys, yeah. So which that's a pretty sick one. But there's I believe five, which is usually around what they usually do.
Yep.
But normally one of them is. Now here's the thing: maybe there is a Freddy Funko one that's going to be the royalty, and there's just those other ones are just legendaries and Grails. I don't know, but
They
the
the,
line was,
the drop has come out and said there is no Freddy Funko,
oh wow.
but there is a
So is
royalty.
there a
But
royalty? Okay, but there
there
is.
is,
Okay.
but here's what's funny about it. They wouldn't like say if we've seen the royalty in one of those leaked images, or if there's one that we haven't seen yet that is the royalty.
That's
I
interesting.
I think it's one of the because
One of the
more
ones.
yeah, I think it's one
Maybe
of the
the
ones.
I wonder.
But I don't understand why there's no Freddy Funko. I think it's weird. They easily could have made a Freddy Funko out of tons of characters. I believe there already are some Game of Thrones Freddy Funkos. So why?
Yeah.
I think there's a Night Walker ones. Um,
Yes, I believe.
but whatever, you could have just slapped Freddy's head on like anyone. Like honestly, I would have
Yeah.
put him on like the Jon Snow. Like he has a very iconic outfit. Um, and that would have been awesome. I'm like a little disappointed, and a lot of people are like shitting on this drop because of that. And they're I don't know, the whole Funko NFT world fandom's getting a little weird because like a lot of them like want to boycott this drop. They boycotted the DC one. This one has a ton of packs. Like I'm knocking on wood, but like I don't think we're gonna have an issue getting these
Yeah.
because there's so many of them. And the only thing that it's funny, like obviously Warner Brothers owns a lot of amazing IPs that you and I both love, but this is out of nowhere, but it's owned by Warner Brothers. And I think they've kind of made it clear like that's their like biggest partner right now in the NFT space. So I think we're just going to keep getting more and more from them. I mean, the last three drops have been their brand.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was some even before that. So
Exactly.
it's definitely been one of their bigger ones. But yeah, like I said, by random I meant like, like it was definitely something I didn't think of necessarily. Like we were all kind of more like, oh, comics, or like, we
Yeah.
were thinking a different world. So for them to do this, I think is pretty cool. It's a big fandom, so obviously it like hopefully it will still attract enough people. But like you said, the world is kind of very critical on what they do and don't do. So the fact that there's no Freddy is like, kind of a big deal to certain people. But like, let them do whatever they want. They want to boycott it. That's fine. That's more
More for
packs
me.
for us because
Yeah.
I definitely want
I
these
want
packs and
these.
I'm
Yeah.
very excited for them because the cards I think are going to be amazing. And if I get any of those redeemables, that'll be even better because they just look so cool. And like I said, there hasn't been a lot of Game of Thrones pops out in a while. So that'll be something that'll just be kind of cool to definitely to grab. But yeah, that was like right when I saw that, I was like so excited. I remember me and Trey were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, definitely gonna try to grab some of these, hopefully. And because there's so many packs, hopefully we do get lucky enough to grab some of them. But
Speaking,
amongst all this news, what do you think? What was some cool stuff that you were like,
well, let's gonna keep on the NFT train because one of my like most favorite things announced was a comic cover of like the first issue of Justice League of America, which it just
mm-hmm,
looks awesome. And there's tons like of different pops in it. It's not just the one standard that we have come to know for this line. And you also get a special NFT with it. So it's going to be a Walmart exclusive. It's coming out for their collector con, which aka I think happens next week for like New York Comic Con. They kind of just like dub it their collector con because they'll have
Yeah.
like other stuff that comes out then. And it's limited to like 30,000 pieces, which I know that's like a lot, but like they're kind of stamping it like this does have a piece count. And not only does the pop look awesome, I know we've said like they've overdone the comic covers a little bit, but like this is going back with the OG DC ones they made with the Batman and Superman. Like I think this one will go
Yeah.
perfect with it. It just looks awesome. Excuse me. And then the NFT that comes bundled with it, I think is a brilliant idea. It's going to get more people into NFTs. Not that we need that, but I think it will. And I think this is probably going to be something that they're going to continue to do, which I think is cool.
Hmm. I think it is cool. It's definitely it's a cool thing because it's different. We haven't had that really. It's a cool pop, like you said. It's different because you have multiple little like, and they're like kind of
Yeah,
smaller,
they're
but like you got a
smaller.
few different versions all in there. And normally for the comic covers and stuff, we've only got like the one standard one, and it's been like for the most part, obviously different enough. Like we've kind of praised them on the fact that the pop and the mold has been unique and different. So this is completely unique because you're getting multiple characters and they're kind of like in a cool pose. And that's obviously a pretty cool looking cover in general of
It's
a comic.
awesome.
So definitely a cool aspect is the NFT part of it. But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, there was a ton of NFT news. I mean, we haven't been on for like quite a while, so we even missed a couple drops since the last
Yep.
time. We had a Looney Tunes drop that came out back on the 20th, and then previous to that was a DC one,
DC
like you
series too.
said,
Yep.
the series two. So going all the way back to that, that was a series that you got cards for that one, though, right?
I did.
Yeah. So
Yep.
you were able to pull cards. Spoiler alert, it's been a while, but Charlie didn't get any redeemables on that. So we were trying to keep the streak going. Luckily, I was able to have a pretty epic pull.
Yeah.
The streak
Watch that
did
video if
continue
you
at that
haven't.
time. So definitely check it out. Those are great ones because I haven't gotten too many packs in a while, and this was one that I was finally able to get. And it wasn't as hyped up of a drop. It had kind of like one off, redeemables, and not people were so not the most popular characters, but I loved it and I loved what I was able to pull from it. And then after that, we had the Looney Tunes one. And the Looney Tunes one, I just was completely not even able to get in. I was dealing with an issue where it wasn't even letting me log in, let alone like get to the queue. Like it kept giving me an error to even log into the drop site, which I guess other people were having issues as well. Mine just never got fixed. So then I was at work as well, and I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna give up on this. Charlie did get some packs, so that's a little bit more recent one. So definitely check that out. I won't spoil too much on that if you don't want to spoil much on what you did
Yeah.
or did and whatever got, but it was a cool drop. What do you think about the drop, anyways? Just kind of like Looney Tunes was pretty popular. I thought it was a
Yeah,
pretty cool
it
one.
was definitely a popular job, which it's funny. I want to tell a little bit of story about it because if you have watched that video I mentioned, I'll let you know how I got those packs because it's sold out and I actually didn't get through the queue either. It's sold out.
Mm.
And my wife, who she made she opened the packs with me in the video, if you watched it, she just happened to be like, okay, I told her she went in when it said sold out. It brought her back up to the page and there was like a few packs left and that's how she was able to get them. So that like,
It's happened to me before where it says it's sold out and it's not actually sold out. It happened to me with the DC drop.
okay.
So like
So like that's how I was able to get packs. I actually thought I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the first time in a long time. Like neither you or I got any packs.
even got packs, yeah.
And so that shows this drop was extremely popular, which I'm not surprised because Looney Tunes has a huge fan base. I feel like, especially in the Funko community. For me, like I like it's funny. I wasn't gonna be like so devastated if I didn't get them because like they're cool, but like I'm not like a huge Looney Tune fan. It's like I liked Looney Tunes when I was little, but like I don't think I have a Looney Tunes pop in my entire collection. So it was cool
Yeah,
to get
none
like I
to me.
got two packs. So yeah, go check out that video. But that's another thing too. Always the good tip, like just try even when it says sold out to enter that queue and you may be able to get them. But all in all, I thought the drop was also fine. Like I didn't even think the redeemables were that great. It's funny. I've been like a
Yeah.
big like proponent of like the redeemables are always been these like random like pops that are like deep cuts. Like I know a lot of people were hating on the DC series too. Like I thought a lot of those pops were awesome because you wouldn't just go into a store on Amazon to find those characters where the Looney Tune ones. I'm pretty sure every character they made has a pop already. Correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong, everyone in the
Most,
comments,
if
but
anything, definitely most of them. Yeah. Except for the
yes,
royalty, probably.
the royalty is
But
awesome though. The Freddy as Bugs
yeah.
Bunny is amazing, but yeah, popular drop, but I wasn't like I didn't think it was one of their better ones.
Yeah. Which makes sense. But yeah, that was among like a lot of the NFT news, obviously, because we've had a lot of drops recently, and we're going to continue to have more. We're always on top of some of these drops and trying to make sure that whether it's us getting packs or our streak continuing, but either way, pretty cool that we're getting more and more of those. Then we had a pretty. This was awesome. I know we were talking about before when we were kind of like off air getting ready for this episode, and it was an interesting one. Not that I want to get this, it was just like the way they have this laid out. I thought was a pretty cool thing. And it's one of those Panini exclusive pops. So obviously Funko and Panini have a little bit of a collab where they've been dropping these pops where it's basically like a big card on the back. It's almost like the comic cover style, essentially, with a Panini card in the back and then the pop matching whoever the card is up in the front. I believe have they all been NBA ones or is there NFL? I think
There's NFL too.
there is NFL, right? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So there's NFL, there's NBA ones. But we have a drop. So if you guys are listening to us actually today, so September 27th, 3 p.m. There's a Panini exclusive LeBron one, and then on the 29th, there'll be a LaMelo Ball exclusive one. We were trying to figure out if there was a big difference because I believe definitely there's a LaMelo Ball, and I think there is a LeBron James. Now I
Yeah,
think about
there
it,
is.
that already exists. So I don't know if there's a different uniform, different whatever it is, or it's just like more whatever reason. They're pretty expensive too. I don't know if all the Panini ones have been this price, but there are what it was 100 and
$125. I think this is
so
the first
125.
time they're doing this sort of thing. I don't know because I think there was, I'm not positive. There may have been like a Brady exclusive Panini one. And I do think like the one of the main differences was actually in the card in the background. I think it was like a gold foil around it
Oh,
instead of
okay,
it
yeah,
being
yeah,
like plain. So I'm assuming that's probably what makes these special. And also has an
yeah,
exclusive sticker. But I think
yeah.
this is the
Shows
first
us
time
sticker.
they've been this much money. And I don't know if those NFL ones have gone on sale if they were just announced.
Yeah, I'm not positive on those either. But let us know if you guys heard. But another cool thing about it, and this was one of the big reasons I want to bring it up, is how they're doing the drop. So essentially, this pop will come out and it's gonna be $125. And then every 5 minutes, I don't know how much, but every 5 minutes, it's gonna drop in price. So it'll continue to drop until it sells out. So I don't know if it's numbered or there's some on a piece count or whatever they're gonna do, but that was pretty cool that they're doing something like this. Like it's kind of like a little bit more exciting. It's like, do
I
you do
agree.
you wait? Do you try to wait till it gets even cheaper, or do you want to miss out? So it's gonna be interesting to see where this price point gets to before it sells out. That's going to be also interesting to kind of affect like the value on this thing. Like, what is it truly
Yeah.
going to be sold at? Like so that's it's kind of a cool thing. So I guess we'll see kind of how this one goes, and then in a couple of days there'll be the Lamelo Ball one. But I thought that was a pretty cool thing. It's an exciting way for them to just drop something besides just oh here's this new pop thing and it's whatever its price is or whatever. So I guess that was a cool news drop. They haven't really done anything like that before, so
No, I thought
interesting.
it was super cool. I'm still waiting for them to make Funko trading cards. I like I feel like it's they're hanging a carrot in front of everyone that
Yeah.
everyone would get those. I just not to go off on a tangent, but I feel like that is something they need to get into because card collecting just keeps getting more and more popular. It's not slowing down.
Yes.
But another
Absolutely.
another thing that came out, which I know we both were excited for and picked up to add to our diecast collection, was they came out with Thor, which
Hmm.
I personally think looks awesome. I love the mold, but it never sold out, and I'm really surprised by that. The only thing I can think of, and I'm curious if you agree, is like they've been making more of these because of the chase, and now maybe some people are like, I'm not buying too because the chases are garbage.
Yeah.
I it
I
just I
think I do think that Chase is becoming a dud thing, and I think even I think two things. Like I think, well, there's a few reasons. I think the hype of it's kind of dying down. I think the die casting was kind of cool in the beginning. I think they have paced it out well enough that we're not getting
Yeah,
overwhelmingly, which I was glad because I didn't
me
want that to
too.
happen. But we are still getting a good amount of them. But then once they came out with this whole chase thing, I feel like people either A, like don't want to get multiple ones to try to get the chase every time. Most of the people don't like the chase. And some people, even like us included, have kind of been a little worried to get one and get the chase, not wanting the chase. So maybe people just don't decide to. So I don't know. It's a little weird. I mean, I still love them. I have every one so far that has come out. I'm, I haven't opened it up yet. I did receive it, but I'm hoping to get the colored regular common version because I just think it looks cooler.
Yeah,
But I mean, obviously, there's a 1 in 6 chance you can get the chase, and technically, the chase is more rare and more, expensive, whatever it might be. But I just hate that they're doing the whole chase. They should just go back to just sticking to just having the one normal version and
I
come out with the
completely
characters
agree.
here and there. And obviously, the price point is still like something that probably keeps some people away. Early on, it was more kind of like, oh, exciting, but now you're kind of like with so much stuff that keeps coming out and new different, there's obviously bigger Funko sodas now, and there's all these comic covers and posters and all these things that are already kind of priced higher. Maybe just the die cast is not something that everybody wants as often, but as long as they keep coming out with cool characters, I'll continue to try to grab them. So far, I've liked every character has come out for the most part, at least not someone yet that I'm like, yeah, they don't need that one at all. So I know we have rumors of some that may be in that range,
Yep,
but they
I
haven't
agree.
dropped yet. So at least for now. But yeah, we both got that. And there'll definitely be a video. I know I haven't put up videos myself in a little while, but there'll be some videos coming out soon with some unboxings, and I'll definitely make sure to crack that one open. And I guess we'll see if we get a chase or not. So we'll see. Well, who knows? Um, Another thing that was kind of an overwhelming thing for over the last week was obviously the holidays are coming up. So there was a lot of, Christmas and holiday related stuff. There was festival fun specifically. I know we had that the last couple of years, I think, where they would like drop like the details and rumors, and like we would see what will be coming out for the holiday
Yep.
time and stuff. This time we did get a bunch of sodas announced, which is pretty exciting. We love the soda news. So we got a Stitch, a holiday version of Stitch. We got a Groot a holiday one, which he's like more of like the teenage, bigger version of Groot, which that one was pretty cool. We got a Jack Skellington Santa, which the soda's cool. Hate the chase. I
Agreed.
literally hate the chase. It makes no sense. It's a black light. It's just so ridiculous. Like they could have done so many other things, but whatever. The Misfit Elephant one, which I know even a few weeks ago we talked about because this was something that certain people had in their possession before Funko
Yeah.
even announced this. But this was now officially announced as part of that little wave as well. There's also a Grinch soda, which that was really cool. Glad that we're getting that one. Um, I think that was the sodas. I think that was pretty much
That
the
was all of
majority
them.
of them. But there was some other like Christmas related pops and stuff. So I don't know if you saw some of those. We want to get into some of the bigger
Yeah.
things that are coming out for that.
I mean, one that I personally thought was kind of cool, and it's part of the Ad Icons collection, but they're coming out with like the toy soldier from FAO Shorts, which is like
Yeah.
iconic. Like if you've ever been to the store, and it obviously has it had closed, quite a few years ago, but it recently just made a comeback, like maybe now 2 years ago, in 30 Rock. So there's a new
Hmm.
like flagship store in the city, and I thought this one was super cool. The only thing I thought was interesting is you can get it at Target or FAO Shorts, which I thought was weird, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it for Target because it's just easier to get. But I thought that one was super cool, and then it came out with a Jeffrey from Toys R Us
Hmm.
Christmas one. I really like those because both of those stores, especially for me when I was a kid, like symbolized Christmas. I mean, those were two of the big toy stores. Um, what did you think of those two pops?
That I mean, that was pretty cool. The Toy Soldier one was awesome. The box looks really cool. Like, just the look of it is awesome. Jeffrey obviously is a legendary one in the Funko world because there's so many of him. There's him as
Yep.
Batman, him as, so those are always really cool. I think it's interesting too because that's usually one that's harder for us to get now because Toys R Us is not necessarily around here as often as it used to be, whereas more in Canada now. So it's interesting to see that we're going to get another version of him coming out.
His
But
is
yeah, there was
cool
a lot. There
because
was a lot of
it's a Macy's exclusive because in the States, Toys R
they're
Us
going to
is
have
coming back to
Toys R Us, right?
Macy's. Yeah, which is kind of cool. But I mean, not to interrupt you, I keep going on the Christmas train because I actually I'm a huge Christmas person. I do like to collect some of the pops. I thought the ones that they announced this year were pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that we had seen rumors of this, but for the Guardians of the Galaxy like Christmas special that's coming on Disney Plus, they came out with a whole line of that, and Amazon's gonna have like the 5-pack too, which I
Yeah.
know we've complained that they keep doing. But like for me, that's one where like I want those, and maybe I'll just get the 5-pack because it all look cool together. They also came out
Mm-hmm.
with, I thought, which is cool, like the Coca-Cola Santa
Yeah.
Claus. And that's gonna have a Funko Shop exclusive. I think it's him sitting on like a chair, and it looks completely different than the common. And then we also got the polar bear, which I was a huge fan of those. I thought this was a really good drop. They came with more ornaments, those Star Wars
Yeah, we've been getting more
snowmen,
of the ornaments.
which we had
Yeah.
talked about before. We had to get the office in there, which is it's just funny that like I don't get how they've milked that show. So, as a huge fan of the show, like it's insane the amount of pops they come out for that show.
Yeah. And then there was also like they gotten into the bigger style pops. So we're getting a Gremlins poster. So there's the movie poster version of the Gremlins one, which that's super cool, and that one's an awesome one. This one I was very excited for. Christmas Vacation, one
It's
of my
awesome.
most favorite Christmas movies of all time. And there's a Christmas. This is the movie cover, so the VHS cover version, and it's of course it's him like with the Christmas lights, just like on
Lights,
the cover, being
yeah,
all zapped and stuff. So that's super cool. Like I love like just the way his like poses. I thought when they dropped, I think it was maybe last year when they had some Christmas Vacation pops that came out with the car with the tree on it. There was a few
yeah,
different versions. Like it was such a cool like line. Definitely an iconic movie. So I'm glad that they're actually continuing to do stuff. And this is a perfect version. Like this is a great movie cover to have. Like if you
agreed.
look at sometimes you're like, that doesn't make sense. This is one that you're like, yeah, that's awesome. And then there was even another great album too, you could say. Probably one of the, well, let's
Yeah,
be honest, the most popular Christmas album of all time, I would say. And it's the Mariah Carey Christmas one, which is pretty cool because it's an iconic one. You recognize it being white in the background, her
yep,
in the front, the Christmas outfit, and then you got that as the pop. So definitely a cool one. Just another excuse for Mariah Carey to make money during Christmas because we all know how much money she probably makes off of that song. And now she's gonna do it for this probably. So that was a cool one. But yeah, it was a pretty hefty amount of stuff that we got. Definitely like, whether it was like Festival of Fun specific related or just like holiday themed. I know we kind of mentioned this as well. There's also like the Marvel gingerbread line
yep,
that's going to be coming out and a few different versions of that. I think there's even the multi-packs is that one as well because they love doing that. So they did the same thing kind of like you said with the Guardians line. But we're getting a lot of those now, like kind of being thrown at us all at once. I know we kind of mentioned this before when I said it about like the Christmas ones when they're like super, super Christmassy like that. I'm not as big of a fan because it's very
yeah,
specific. Whereas like the Christmas Vacation one and things like that, I'd be more prone to getting than just like a normal movie with their characters with lights around them and things like that. So
no,
like
totally.
those not as much, but I do like the whole Hallmark collab with the actual ornaments. Those are really cool. I know I didn't mention I grabbed a few of those, but now we're getting even more, and they hit up all the different fandoms, which is always really cool. What I like about it is they're not like Christmas like looking themed. It's just the
They're just
character.
the
It just happens to
character.
be an
They're
ornament,
awesome.
which is perfect. I think that was great. Like I think it would have been too much if they made it super Christmassy, like with lights and things like that. Like no,
Yep.
they just made the character. You want to hang it on your tree? Cool. So
One
that's definitely
speaking of the ornaments, though, did you see I think they're like 2-packs that are Walmart exclusives of like iconic characters like it's R2D2 and C3PO, or like they had Rocket, I think, and Peter Quill. Like there's just a bunch of random twos, and they come with chases and
Yeah, ornaments.
ornaments. But
Oh,
the
sure, I saw that.
here's the kicker: the chases are like just gold, like the
Like
the
all metallic,
diecast.
like the chrome ones.
I don't under like everyone when you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube, comment like, are we crazy by saying like these are not worthy of like chases? Like, why would you want something with absolutely no detail or color of the character as like the exclusive one? I don't
Yeah, it's
get
so
it.
weird.
I just and when I saw them do it for the ornaments, I was just like, whoa, no way. Like I look at it as like if I was to get the droids from Star Wars, which I do want, like the chase could be like BB-8 instead of, getting like R2D2 or something. I know that
Yeah.
puts more effort in having to make a new product, but like I don't I wouldn't want these ones that they just I'm so happy that's not what they're doing with like the chases that they do for the pops. Like normally like
Yeah.
they're pretty cool. Where if they start
It's
doing
weird. It
that,
just doesn't
like,
make sense.
yeah, I had to bring that up because
And
it's just,
they keep doing it though, so it's obviously like a thing they love to do. It's been around for a while, but
yeah,
it just to me doesn't make sense. Yeah, like when I first got into collecting and it was like this was before sodas, so like when it was like pops and they were like, oh, you got a chase option, let's do chase roulette. It's 1 in 6. It was always exciting because it was like, okay, that's a variant, something that's different. And it was like cool if you pulled it and like you wanted to get it and you spent money on getting extra ones just so you could try to get it
yeah,
because like that was the whole thrill of it. Like it was less chance to get it, so that made it already more valuable. Not even just dollar wise, just because it was harder to get, but it was different, so it was exciting. And then like sometimes you had something like, okay, that's a little lazier, that's a whatever, but for the most part, they were hitting
at
on
least
them.
they're
Like they made
different.
sense. Yeah, they were different enough to be like, that's a chase, or even if it was like, okay, that glue in the dark, but most of the time it would kind of make sense. Like the
Yeah,
character would fit to that, flocked, things like that. But then like I don't know, like now they just like do it just to do it, I feel like. And it's like, well, let's just make a
yeah,
chase of this just so
that
that we
is.
have another thing to sell and then sell more. And I don't know, it's not as exciting anymore.
It's funny. Speaking of like the chases, though, I think the Grinch chase is amazing because not is it just flocked, it's also different because he's holding the dog. Like to
Yeah.
me, that's just like an amazing, like you want that chase in if you're a Grinch fan because it is a completely different figure. It's fun. I know we talk about this all the time, but like it is just so interesting how some of these chases are what we want like all the chases to be,
Yeah.
but
Some
they
are so
just
great.
it's so interesting to me. But I'm happy like as much as I can go off on like the soda chases, I'm happy they're not just doing like, okay, we're painting this one gold or we're painting this one silver. Because then like it's funny, they probably know if they do that with the sodas, like soda sales are gonna go down because
Yeah.
like
There's no way.
no
Yeah,
one
because there
wants
are
it.
obviously some soda chases that were like, yeah, it's a little lazy, but for the most part, at least you get
Exactly.
something a little more than that. But yeah, that's whatever. But yeah, a lot of Christmas stuff. I mean, there's even like I was saying in the beginning and the intro, like there's a bunch of conventions being announced and stuff. So we're getting WinterCon exclusives, which will be December 2nd, I believe, is when that. So that's going to be when a bunch of these also will probably be coming out and a bunch of other ones, I bet.
Oh, there's
But
also
yeah,
there's gonna be a Freddy ornament. Did you see that? A Funko Shop exclusive? I'm pretty pumped for
no,
that. Yeah, I
like the
noticed it on the
normal
website.
Hallmark ones and everything, but
Yeah,
with
but it's
Freddy
a
Funko.
Funko Shop exclusive. It's like a
Oh, that's
mold
cool.
I've never seen of him, and
Oh
I
wow,
noticed it had like the notify me. So I thought that was cool that they did that.
that would be cool. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty awesome. I mean, there was also like that was funny you just said that, but there's also some other Freddy news. So there was also a picture that leaked out of a Freddy Funko golf
Yeah.
soda. So it's like him as like golfer, like playing golf, and it's like a soda. So that looks pretty cool if that's real or what that's gonna be for. Like who knows? But I like that they're coming out with more variations of Freddy's, especially in the soda world, because they usually are pretty cool and they hit, and they're usually pretty hard to get. Um, and then there's also going to be so to kind of get into one of the big events and big things that was talked about, Fright Night. So we'll go into that a little bit in a second, but there's going to be a Freddy NFT. So just kind of stick with the Freddy.
Yeah.
That's going to be specific to Fright Night. It looks amazing, like the picture that they show, like it looks so cool. But I believe it'll be something that'll be exclusive to the convention, kind of like what they did with the San Diego one. So for NYCC and Fright Night event specifically, they kind of have their perks of being able to go there. But yeah, we'll just get right into that then, because that's something I know we're both pretty
Yeah.
passionate about. But Fright Night was announced this year to be kind of a 1-day event specifically during NYCC, very similar to the fun days that they always do during San Diego. The last couple of years, we've been blessed with the opportunity to be able to purchase these fun day boxes and not have to go to the event, which is really cool. And this year, again, they did it, but this year they did the in-person event, which was kind of like a more exclusive party type of thing. But we both agree on this, that it was like they had their own exclusive, which was really cool, boxes
Yep.
that you got because you were able to go to the event, and everyone else who was able to purchase got their own boxes of exclusive Freddy's, etc. So we've talked about Fright Night specifically, so that's going to be a more horror related, Halloween style box, which there's already rumors, but nothing has at all been confirmed or like officially leaked. It's been kind of just like random on what we're going to get. I think the only news that maybe is somewhat confirmed is that it's going to be a mixture of sodas and
That's
pops.
confirmed.
I've
Yep.
seen that. Yes, I've seen that. So it's like 3 and 3, I think,
I
right? So
think so.
six
Yeah.
total things, 3 sodas, 3 pops, which I love
Is
that because I
awesome.
love the mixture of that. I think that's going to be really cool. Does that mean these are all going to be Freddy specific? Are they going to be a mix of stuff? We have no idea because it's the first time they're really doing this. But being that we're in the East Coast, we're both in New Jersey, very, very close to New York City specifically. We were really excited about this. We wanted to get to at least try to get to this event. And then the news started rolling out, and Funko, NYCC, and like what are the tickets going to be? And then the news came out that Fright Night, you only were able to go to Fright Night if you have tickets to NYCC specifically. And then we're like, all right, let's see how this is going to go. But then Fright Night tickets actually dropped first. Well, no, NYCC has
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
kind of selling
It's been
tickets
that.
for a
Yep.
while.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's been selling kind of
And you
throughout,
had to
and
have
usually,
Friday night. If you had Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday, you couldn't go to it. You
yeah,
needed
with that
Friday.
event, so Thursday through Sunday, but Friday night is on Friday. Exactly. Yep. So you had to get specific to that, which the way, I don't know if anybody has ever gotten to cons or knows how it goes, but basically the way to sell it is you can get the 4-day pack where you go to the
Yep.
entire convention, or you can get them by the day. So that was one thing. And then the 22nd, which was last week, the official queue opened up for selling of the Fright Night tickets. And both of us jumped in. We were like, wanting to try to go, see how this was going to go. And it was a disaster. I mean, it sold out like ridiculously fast. The wait time was like insane. Like it was run through a separate site. All NYCC, I believe, is all done through ReedPop, right? That's like the
Correct.
company that basically like runs the entire
Yep.
convention, etc. And Funko has it's kind of funny because Funko is quick to like kind of just like throw them under the bus,
Throw the
where like
bus.
everything is through ReedPop, like, and they make it really like obvious, like we can't do anything about this because it's all through them. And like, I mean, that's probably why their hands are tied with, because they're the ones that do that, but like I don't know what else they could have done. I don't know. I mean, maybe because we're just salty because we didn't get tickets. Spoiler alert, we weren't able to get in. But I don't know. I just don't like the way it's all
No.
kind of run, right? It's not
No,
really.
it's, I mean, I'll go off on it because like I know we're salty we didn't get tickets, but really poorly run. I've gone to a lot of New York Comic Cons. Like they always have issues. Even when you're there, you would never know this has been an event going on for years. They still don't know how to, maintain a line. They don't know how to make it fair. It's just everything about it. It's really unfortunate because it's such an awesome event. And I'm just so upset that Funko, like the big difference, which Funko let it be known, like they did it on their social accounts when they did live streams, like, hey, everyone who's come to our event like this in San Diego, we're running the show. Here, it's because I'm assuming so for anyone who's never been to New York Comic Con, it's grown so much over the years that like it used to just be the Javits Center. Now, like they are renting out like basically every big theater within a certain radius to hold these events because it's become so popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's even
Oh wow.
like
I thought
events
it
in
was just
MS.
Javits, and Javits
No,
is huge alone.
so now there's events in like MSG, for example,
Oh wow.
which causes a huge annoyance as well at the con because like not that that's a far walk, but it is
I
when you're
mean,
trying to be
it's yeah,
like,
it is.
well, it's annoying, yeah, because it's like, okay, I want to go see a panel in MSG, but that means all these other panels I want to do in the Javits Center I can't do because of the time walk, this, and that.
You have to sacrifice. Yeah.
I'm assuming they've rented out basically any place that you could do an event like this. Hence why Funko was like, oh, we have no other option but to have it within, because it's actually this event's in the Javits Center, which I'm trying to think
Okay.
like, where are they holding this? Where I'm assuming it's going to be in like the main stage and they're going to get, I just don't envision it being like all the pictures I just saw for the box of
The Fun
fun,
Days one.
yeah, the fun days event, because I just don't see where they could have an event like that within the Javits Center, because all the
Yeah, because
you can
no, I
go.
was just gonna say because it's NYC. You know what I'm saying? Like this is New York Comic Con. This isn't Funko Con. Like
Yeah,
there is so many other things going on. Funko just happens to be in there and have their own little booth. So like now that they're gonna do like a specific event, plus they're gonna have their normal booth, is kind of
it's
interesting
weird.
because I haven't been to New York Comic Con and I know Javits Center is enormous and I know there's different like places, but like, are they just doing it there? And it's
They
just
said that's
at
where they're doing
night
it.
that they're just specifically like because I'm assuming is it like after like what how late does Comic Con stay open
It's
till
funny. Have
usually?
you
Like
seen like what time Fright Night starts? Like, have you
no.
seen that anywhere? So I don't. I mean, it doesn't close until like 10 o'clock. I don't
Oh,
envision
okay.
them waiting that long. Maybe they are, but what I was gonna get at before is like everything's set up and like you go to watch a panel. So all these rooms, there's all just lines of seats, which are easily
Yeah.
moved. But I'm just like thinking from all those videos I saw before, it was like a party, like
Yeah.
there like dance
Like a
floors,
big
like
open
yeah.
floor and yeah.
Um, so I'm sure they're it's going to be an amazing event that we're salty we're not going to, but also that makes me believe like Funko may not be running the event. It may be the people from Reed Pop, which also
Which
then
I
just
think
makes
they
it a
are.
disaster.
Yeah, because I
Um,
was just gonna say this being the first time they're gonna have to handle if let's say they are handling this type of a thing, just makes you think like, are they gonna be equipped and ready to logistically get this pulled off without like some craziness happening or something, right?
yeah,
Like
I think there's
and
going to
like
be a lot of
obviously there was a
heavy
limited
people.
number of tickets, I'm assuming, right? So like
Yep.
they probably know how many they're gonna have or whatever it may be. But it's yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes down. And if you were lucky enough to like go or you got tickets or whatever, like let us know. I mean, we follow enough people and know enough people in this area to like, probably get videos and stuff eventually when it starts when the event actually happens. But I'm very interested to see kind of how that goes. And like, yeah, I am salty. It would have been awesome to go there. And like, the theme itself is all my alley. So like, and it's the local one. Like it just would have been awesome. But I don't know.
And I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
it's a pain
funny.
in
It's
the
like, are
ass.
we? I don't. Am I naive for thinking like I thought it was going to be hard to get, like we were talking about before, but like I thought we'd get them.
Yeah.
Not only
I
that, like Funko's been very adamant you're not supposed to resell them. People are selling the tickets for like
of
thousands of
course.
dollars.
Of course.
Uh,
I honestly like feel like if this was the first time they did it, maybe it wouldn't have been as crazy. I think San Diego and the box of fun one going off first blew this one up even more because then everyone really knew like, oh, this event's super sick. Oh, you're gonna have like prototypes. Oh, you're gonna have exclusive stuff that you're not getting anywhere else. You're gonna get a specific box that no one else is getting that has
yeah,
even cooler exclusives. Like it's a party. You're gonna get so much free swag. Like just all that being like already confirmed, even though we don't know if it's 100% exactly the same. Kind of still gave us enough of an idea that this is gonna be pretty sick. And I feel like the East Coast just has even more people. So
Yep.
like now it's like and then there's people coming from the West Coast and all over the world because I've already seen people confirm that they're able to get to this. So like it's gonna be a pretty crazy. And then remember, this is the first time Funko's been back there. So Funko specifically is already blowing up when it comes to NYCC because
We're
I haven't been
missing out
at
on a lot of
NYCC
cool
in a while.
stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's gonna be an amazing thing. Congratulations to everybody, that is able to go. Hopefully you guys get everything you want. We already know Charlie has said in the past the systems and everything, like we can kind of actually tie into that now, but
Yeah.
the system with NYCC when it comes to their booth with Funko and like it's not just an event where you can just go and get anything you want and maybe wait in the line here and there. Like there's a system to it. Like you have to like get a ticket to get this, and then you gotta get a ticket to get that, and you gotta wait in the line. And like Charlie has said, you miss most of your day in multiple hours. You won't be able to see other events. And if you're a fan of other media entertainment and things that aren't Funko, you might be sacrificing that because of a Funko Pop that you're gonna try to wait for. So that whole aspect, I don't like love that that's like a thing, but it's just the way it is now because
Yep.
it's just a massive event. But now with this thing, I thought it was gonna be the cool thing on the box. Now, granted, we're gonna be going crazy trying to get that box because I want that box. I want as many boxes to try to get because if I think what it's gonna be based off of just like what people are just saying, it should be amazing. But yeah, we'll get into the NYCC booth type stuff. So there was some rumors, or not rumors, there was some news had dropped because this has been going on for people to was it like yesterday or something, the actual reservations
Yeah,
and
to
stuff
make
that they were going through,
reservations
right?
for
Like
like
yesterday or 2 days or whatever.
events that you want to go to.
Yeah, so that whole thing came up, and obviously, like I'll pop up here if you're watching, like the little blurb that Funko came out with, and like essentially, like it was like a shit show essentially because it's funny because they say like we anticipated like a lot of people in heavy traffic and we thought it was going to be able to handle it and it was not. So it's like, did you really anticipate the amount of
I
traffic?
know.
Did you have something in place to build to handle this? Like clearly you didn't. And it's like, are they learning anytime soon? Because a lot of stuff is happening a lot now, and it's like, come on. And just off the Fright Night, like how fast that stuff was going, like they should have known that this is going to be a huge thing.
They
But
should. I
like, what
mean,
are your
yeah,
thoughts? Sure,
I
you can
don't
go off on this.
it's just weird because like I hate to say this because like we obviously love Funko. I mean, we have a podcast about it. Like they know we will just forgive them and they got their money. And they are I do believe they are a fan first brand. They they just happen to make a lot of money, but like I genuinely do I genuinely like deep down in my heart believe like they do try to do everything the best they can for their fans. Um, and events like I know it stinks you had to get that separate ticket, but like everyone who's lucky enough to go to Friday night, you're gonna see like I know the tickets are $200, but they even made a which I think is kind of cool. They're like, yeah, you can't buy anything at this event. You're gonna come and you're gonna get a ton of free. I know it's not free because you paid for the ticket, but like
Yeah,
we're just giving you stuff and like it they'll
more than your
they're there
value
like
for sure.
yeah, exactly. Which a lot of companies would not do that. They would make you pay to go to an event and then be like, okay, you want this Funko Pop, you need to buy this Funko Pop. So like I know I'm going on a tangent, but what I'm getting at here is like they know that we're gonna keep coming back. I feel like they want to try to fix it, but they probably just don't want to invest the money in, the servers and the bandwidth and whatnot, because it's like, okay, this only happens like X amount of times a year. It's not like you're just gonna build, the extra
Yeah,
bandwidth for like you would have to always have it. And I just don't think they care in like the nicest way possible because people are gonna forget about it in a few days and everyone's going to be happy, especially when they're at that con and they get their stuff they want. If
yeah,
that makes sense.
it does. I get what you mean, but like could they do more? Yeah, maybe like that kind of thing. But
But at
it is
least
what
like
it
this
is.
stuff is not on like it's out of their control as well for this event because they're not using their like as you can see like the queue we waited in for the Fright Night tickets was not the queue we waited in for all Funko stuff. Not
No,
the same for
yeah,
the NFTs. I think they're using a significantly worse software.
yeah,
It even looks dated compared to the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
ones when
Supro.
you're
Look like, yeah.
so it's just, and I think Repop just doesn't care. Like they look at it as like we're the people who are like putting on the event logistically when you're there. All this other stuff is whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, they got the money. They got the Funko's probably paying them really good amount of money to get these things always done for them, and they're gonna make out on it regardless. And then Funko's kind of in a situation where they're like, well, we're providing all these products, we're doing all these things, and we'll have a cool event, but we're not the one that's gonna,
Yeah,
handle the logistic stuff on it. So that has nothing to do with us, and they're kind of okay with saying that and like,
exactly.
it being fine. And it's like it's already known. So it's like it's whatever. But
I'm
yeah, either
hoping
way, I
though,
mean, yeah.
like this event, I have a feeling like we're gonna have this event every year though, New York Comic Con now, based off of popularity, and I just feel like why not? People want these things. I am hoping though next year they find a way to do it the way they do it in San Diego and not have it be tied to New York Comic Con. Like I've always thought it was amazing that you didn't have to go to San Diego Comic Con to go to that event, even though it was built around San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm
No,
hoping
it should
Funko
be, and it
finds
should
a
be
way.
run through Funko and
Yeah.
they handle it. They just do that as a one-off thing. Plus the fact that they're a booth in New York Comic Con. Like,
And
yeah,
if this
don't.
goes poorly, they're probably gonna try everything in their power to get it to be that way because the average I know most people going to this event are obviously hardcore like fanatics who love Funko,
Mhm.
but in your mind you forget like they're not the ones running this event and you're just gonna get pissed at
Yeah.
Funko, not at Reed Pop. Like
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah,
want
like who
that.
even are they? Like
Yeah.
that makes sense. But speaking of like Funko specifically, obviously, that was a big part of what's going on. Next week we'll probably go more in depth on NYCC specifically, because obviously we did get the announcement. It was a huge drop of pops and sodas and stuff. So we'll get more into
Huge.
that specifically right before the actual drop and kind of what we're excited for and stuff for the event. Um, we did have as well some Funko exclusive stuff that was announced and dropped. The Wampa soda finally came out. I know you
Finally.
were very excited for that. Did you grab one?
I did. Which
Yeah.
I'm surprised that didn't sell out.
Yeah, it was still there. I was gonna say up until tonight, I saw it was still there. I think the price point's kind of scaring some people away. I
But
mean,
every other
$40.
one has sold out immediately,
Yeah.
aka the two other.
Well, was
But
this
they
one
were
exclusive though?
well,
Yeah, so
it was a
maybe they were
Funko
more.
Shop exclusive.
It
So
was, yeah. We already know those. Let me check,
exactly.
but
So maybe that's why.
yeah, it could be. The other ones were a little more to like D23 was one of them, right? And then the was San Diego. The other one, yeah, San Diego
Yep.
con, right?
And we're getting one for New York
Um,
Comic Con. We're getting two actually, which we'll
Two
talk
for New
about.
York
Yeah.
Comic Con, yeah, which are pretty cool, yeah. But we'll talk about
Yeah.
those in the next episode. Pretty cool ones. We also had a Patrick Bateman soda, that exclusive one that dropped, which I was really excited for that one. Big American Psycho fan, so I think that one's a pretty cool one. Still waiting for those to come in. See if I pull a Chase. And then we had something that is a little bit of a leak. So I wanted to wait a little bit to talk about this because just in case you guys don't want to see it, you don't want to be spoiled. We like putting up everything that we talk about, so we will, but we're gonna kind of warn you guys if you don't want to be, spoiled about this. Feel free to fast forward or end. We'll probably end pretty soon after this, anyways. But well, at least we're not gonna
Yeah.
verbally spoil it, but it will be flashed in the screen real quick. But there was a leak of a Black Panther pop specifically for obviously Wakanda Forever. Um, we already kind of knew that there was a line coming out. Didn't have Black Panther specifically in it. It was more like other characters and things. So the whole thing has been more about like who's gonna be Black Panther, what they're gonna look like, and then we had that kind of leak of the like Lego toy that came out, and everyone was like, "Oh, it could be this, could be that."
You can never tell from a
But now
Lego.
we actually got like a pop of the Black Panther itself. And we were talking about it kind of before. And again, it's not like 100% this is what the person is, this was going to be, but
Tells
it
you.
kind of seems like you know it's going to be. So in case you didn't want to know, definitely don't check it out. But but if you
Yeah.
did, I mean, like just without spoiling anything, I mean, like we kind of it looks pretty cool. It's a pretty cool pop, but it's interesting. I think the more important thing we're going to talk about is kind of like just the leak in general. I know you were talking about how like just the fact that like whoever this person is and
Yeah.
they got this leak out there. That's crazy.
Yeah. We've obviously a lot of our information especially when it comes to rumors, comes from leaks. We follow certain pages, people who obviously have gotten in trouble for leaking stuff that like doesn't really have any other ramification besides Funko being pissed that
Yeah.
you leaked their product, which sucks. You shouldn't be doing. I think this leak is like this is one of the biggest leaks I feel like of a Funko Pop, in my opinion, since like the whole internet culture with Funko, because this spoils like a major part of something that I know Disney slash Marvel Studios like is keeping like a secret. Because even
So,
in sorry, yeah, go.
well, I was gonna ask you about that specifically. So, do you think that is the case? Do you think this wasn't gonna come out in a trailer? You think Disney's really gonna try to do that,
I
or
I do. I don't think it's gonna come out in a trailer. I think even it was very artistically that first trailer was
yeah? Which that one, I
shown,
mean, it made sense. It was amazing. It was like very
but even
drawn
like
on what, yeah,
yeah,
the emotion.
I don't think it's funny because like right now, like the movie's approaching, it's coming out in November,
Yeah,
and weirdly, I was reading an article today. Kevin Feige was like being asked like, do you regret not like recasting the role of T'Challa? And he was like, no, definitely not, like way too soon. I know there's been like campaigns on the internet that people are like pissed that they didn't do that, like even as huge Chadwick Boseman fans are just like, we love him, we he will always be like our T'Challa, but like don't ruin the storyline because the unfortunate events. I don't agree
yeah.
with that, but it's funny. He kind of alluded that like maybe down the line we'll recast that character. Um,
Which at that point maybe it could make more
which
sense.
makes sense even with like all the multiverse stuff now. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah, of
very
course.
obvious in the if you've seen the trailer for the new movie, like there's definitely going to be a funeral for his character.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't think they're really gonna show stuff. And I look at the whole Grogu Star Wars like merchandise, how they made a big point to like not release any of that stuff till the show came out. I do feel like they were gonna do that with this character because, like we said, they already you could pre-order the Wakanda Forever line, and it is huge, and there's no Black Panther pops.
Yeah.
I mean, there may have been other I also find it interesting, like there hasn't really been many leaked images. Even I'm sure if you go deep on Reddit, you can find out immediately who the new Black Panther is. But like, there hasn't even really been set images leaked.
Yeah, yeah. In the movie.
I'm pretty sure there was just official stills that like came out today, and like they're like not talking about that at all. They're like not focusing on it. They're a lot of it's focused on like Namor being the new villain.
Mhm.
Like so yeah, I personally, not to go around in a circle, I don't think we would have seen this. And I think this is a huge leak, and I think that person's gonna get in a lot of trouble because not just Funko's gonna sue them, but Disney's gonna sue them.
Yeah.
Like hardcore,
So
in
it's
my
interesting.
opinion.
Yeah, it is pretty nutty. I mean, it's a cool looking pop. It looks
It is a
awesome,
cool
but
pop.
yeah, if you didn't want to know, it's like interesting that they put it out there. And now again, the pages, like we said, the pages we follow, they do a good job telling you, hey, this is gonna be a spoiler. If you don't want to see it, check it out. Spoiler. I think Funko
Some
Finders was one,
haven't
the
though.
specific one. Well, yeah, I was
They
gonna
were
say
good.
because
Funko
Funko Finders
Finders
is a
was
good
good.
one. They put like slides of just spoiler before they actually get to the post. But there was some that did just at this point, I guess they're like, it's out there. Let's just put it out there. Um, but yeah, kind of wanted just to like ended up on that one because I think that was pretty much the majority. Was anything else like major that
Oh
kind of
no, no, those are the big. I mean, yeah, nothing
it was a
major.
ton of stuff, but yeah, it
Yeah,
was
we're still
it's
getting
a
Marvel
lot.
comic book covers that just released
Yeah,
yesterday.
true. More of those.
Yeah, we got a She-Hulk and we got Miss Marvel.
Yep.
The
So I just
She-Hulk
want to
one, in
just
my opinion, looks
throw in,
kind of
obviously.
cool, but yeah, it's just we've talked about that in exhaustion, but those are
Many
here to
already.
stay. And yeah, nothing really much. They haven't. I feel like the She-Hulk line hasn't been as big as I would have expected it to be,
From
which
the
is
show.
interest. It's interesting. Like I don't. Like it's funny how they've like made those lines. I feel like the WandaVision line was huge, and like ever all the Disney Plus, like the What If is an exception of being like the biggest
Hmm.
Funko line of all time, but everything else, like it's really been so sporadically small for the Disney Plus shows. I feel like it keeps getting smaller and smaller, which I don't mind. Um, but I feel like the She-Hulk line's been weak. And I don't know if you've been
Yeah.
watching the show. The
Yeah, I've been
show's
watching it.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I've been watching the show. I thought we were gonna get like more every episode, like we were talking about how there was a new one, but like it was like a couple in the beginning, then we got like one, and then I don't have we even got like an actual official She-Hulk pop that's
No,
not that comic cover? We haven't, right?
no,
Like as She-Hulk,
no.
which I think that's kind of weird. Like
Yeah.
we should at least get one, you know? Like I'm sure there
I'm
will be
yeah, I'm
eventually, but
assuming, yeah, it's gonna be like the last
yeah,
line
within
that
like
they
and
drop,
but
which
I'm a little indifferent about that show though. Like I watch it and enjoy it, but I think it's becoming a little too cheesy and campy in my opinion, like the way that it's kind of been. Where like I don't hate it. It's definitely not one of my favorites, and I really do think that them, whatever the reason was, when I think you were saying like budget or
yeah,
time restriction when it came to like the whole CGI, like they butchered it in a lot of these episodes, and like I like it just I can't like not see that
see it.
now, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh my god. Like I know for a fact if it's a certain, I feel like it was during a certain time that they were filming because it's anytime she's in her office, essentially, you're gonna get the worst type of like CGI of her as She-Hulk. I feel like that whole all those scenes were filmed at the same time, and they
I
just did
agree.
not. Yeah, it's so weird. But overall, it's like whatever. I mean, I'm excited like with the little cameos and things that are supposed to be coming out here and there, and so like that it'll build up enough that I think it'll get us to where we want in this whole like part of the universe and the storyline that they're at. But overall, it's like it's just kind of like it's like a one I could just pop on. It's have half hour episodes, so you can
Yeah, it's
just
fine.
watch them quick
And then you
anyways.
got the
Nothing too
complete,
intense.
it's just not to go off tangent. I know we're ending this episode soon, but I also then look like so Andor just came out and that has no official pop line besides con exclusive so far, which I find wild because there are all new like all these characters in the show are new besides
Yeah, they
Andor
dropped
and
3 episodes at
yeah,
once too. So
and there's no way that these weren't in the pipeline because the show had been delayed anyway. And but then it
mhm.
kind of reminds me of like the book of Boba Fett line that we barely got anything.
Like
I don't,
nothing. I
but
think
like
that
the
realistically, there's only like 3 pops in that
yeah,
line.
it's crazy. But then the Obi-Wan Kenobi, which obviously out of all of these three shows had the most hype, that's a huge line.
Yeah,
I'm saying as a Star Wars fan, I'm just like I'm just was really surprised that we've gotten no announcements for Andor pops.
yeah. It was one of those con ones, right?
Yeah, the con and then there's gonna be a New York Comic Con that was announced,
Yeah,
which is just interesting to then have no like common line.
yeah. Huh. I mean, I'm sure they maybe will, but who knows? Because like we thought Boba Fett would have a
Yeah,
crazy, and it really never did. So who knows if they're kind of just holding back. It is interesting how they do how so it's always happening with Disney ones. Like they either flood you with a show
or
or
you
you
get like
like get
nothing.
nothing. It's like
Yeah,
no
I
middle
agree.
ground.
It's funny.
So that's kind of weird. But yeah, that'll be it. Ton of news. I mean, a lot that we covered. I know it's a little while since we've been on, so hopefully you guys enjoyed everything we talked about. Definitely feel free to chime in. Let us know some stuff you're excited for, your thoughts on your Comic Con, Fright Fest, Fright Night,
Yeah.
whatever, all that kind of stuff that we talked about. Make sure to comment down below, like we always usually say. If you are listening on podcasts, we love it. Check out the YouTube version as well because you'll get some, especially when these news driven ones, you'll get pictures of what we're talking about as
Yep.
well. And that'll make it a little easier for you to see, some of the stuff that we've been talking back and forth with, but definitely comment down below. We love hearing what you guys have to say. But otherwise, that'll be it. So try to kind of lead us out
Yeah.
here
And
for
then
episode 44.
hopefully next week too, you'll be getting some exclusive NFT drop videos from me and Migs for that Game of Thrones drop. So, but yeah,
Yes.
like I said, thank you for, all the comments. It was great to see as well last, few weeks while, we were busy. I was away in Disney. Like people were commenting, like, when's the next episode coming back? So, that definitely made, us feel good. So we appreciate that. But just if you could keep coming over to that YouTube channel. I've noticed our subscribers are growing, and you can tell that like that's been helping us get some more views. So if you could just
Mm-hmm.
keep doing that, tell your, friends, and make sure you like all the videos, because unfortunately that does like help the YouTube algorithm. And we really, appreciate the help. And like I said, keep commenting. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye, bro.